we are finally working on the Defender after 2 weeks. And, you know, we got some parts. We'll go over that in a second, but thanks to my buddy Drake and my inspector on the job for letting us use his shop. So we actually got an enclosed place to work on it. So let's get into it. So the problems we've been having is the boot and this axle coming out. So we're gonna get that changed, spark plugs, also the snorkels, and then we have a problem with the clutch making some weird noises, and for some reason we cannot get it out of low gear. We're able to turn it on the transmission itself here, but there's a boatload of slack in the shifter cable, so we're taking that apart and see what's going on with that. That's perfect. Well, that's our shifter issue. Well, good thing I just ordered one earlier, so. Let's see. Right where the pinch is at for the cable. Perfect, that's just what we want. Well, you can see where it started melting some of these plug wires, so we got some new ones, but this isn't the one that was actually causing us the issues. It was the other one, but I'll show that to you in just a second. Exactly. Thanks, brother. All right, kill it.
Pull the boot off, take it.
So you can see that I heard these spark plugs wires that you can get on Amazon are great. So they're both long, so you don't have to worry about one working for the other one. But look how bad this is. All right, so I'll put up a recap of what this boot was doing, but you see where it melted everything. So we got that changed out, and the spark plug boot was broken. That's why it was arcing off the engine block. There's that busted boot that was arcing off against the motor. So this is, well, this is how it's sat in, and it was like arcing off the side over here. Yep. And there's a crack right there. So that was what's causing our rough idle issue, and our limp mode was this. So garbage.
Oh, platinum in there? Mm.
Oh, we finally got the exhaust off, and that was no fun. And we got to knock that catalytic converter out.
Yeah, we were at the.
Yeah, you see how hot this thing got. It done already blew a hole through it, so we're gonna get a screwdriver and knock the rest of it out. So this donut gasket is what blew out, but you can see how it's on there sideways. We didn't touch it. It was blowing against these snorkels, getting those hot, and that's what caught on fire. So I guess when I put it on last time, I didn't have it on good enough, but we got some more, and we're gonna put a fresh donut gasket on it. Not have to worry about this again. So here's that leg gasket. I guess when I done the transmission, I put it in wrong, but you can see that little step right there that I put it on wrong. All right, so now we're finally getting that to the axle, and this clip is what's supposed to be the issue. So you can see that this clip is what is actually supposed to hold the axle in place. And you see how compressed it is. It is below the spline. So that's definitely the issue why this axle's popping out. So this is some sketchy shit, but we was able to get it off without actually having to remove the entire portal and all the suspension. Just get it all unbolted. And then we slowly rotated this down, and I was able to pop it out of the diff, and here we are. So now we're gonna change this boot, and we're gonna put a new clip on here. Let me show you what they sent us. Here is the new boot that they sent us. They also sent us some grease, a deluxe banding tool, as well as a boatload of banding straps, because they know sometimes we do trail repairs with fence wire. But other than that, they sent us the clip, and also an O-ring to put underneath it. So what the O-ring does is it actually pushes out this clip further, so it actually activates more than just the clip. So hopefully that'll keep it in. I think there's something wrong with this one to begin with, so we'll see how it looks when we put all this on. And then you know that this band is not tight enough around the boot, so that's why there's axle axle grease pushing out. It's not the actual boot that's broken, it's just this band, it's not tight enough. So we'll get this axle popped off, we'll get a new boot put on, that new set of grease, and put that clip on. We got the clip off, that was a pain in the ass. Now we're gonna put this O-ring on, and then this clip. On this this axle cup, if it was focused, there was a big lip right here, and that clip would it was hung up underneath there like that, and it took everything we had to get it out from underneath it. So I was able to get it out. I filed just a little groove on the top side right here, so now it's got room to move. You can see that O-ring up underneath. Well, kind of sort of, it's black on black, but it's under there. Then we got this new ring, so we'll get it put on. First, we got to do the same thing with this one over here and change this boot out and put that new one on, put it more full of grease. But you can see that one's pushed in really far too. And on here, you can kind of see what I was talking about, it overlapping. So we're gonna do exactly what we've done on the other one and just file it down a little bit. That way that clip can actually move like it needs to. So I got the clip off of this axle. That was the biggest pain in the ass. So what I had to do is I had to follow the path of the groove with a freaking file and work my way all the way around, but try not to make the gap too wide to where this new clip will just come out. But I think I got it so far. That was awful. That was an awful experience. So let's get this new clip put on the shaft side. And we went ahead and put 2 O-rings up underneath here to keep this clip pushed out all the way. Now it's gonna be really hard to compress and get in there, but what I'm gonna do is the zip tie trick. That's where you put a zip tie around here and get it as tight as possible, as well as the shaft. There it goes. As well as the shaft when we put this axle cup back on there. So I'll let you know how that goes, and then we'll see if we can do it on this one. Let me tell you, that was not fun getting in there. So got it in there now. We got the boot like slipped on. So we have this bag of grease, and we're gonna, instead of opening up the seal here, we're gonna cut one of the corners. Then we're gonna fill the boot up. We're gonna push it all the way on to where it sits level, and then we're gonna band the bottom side around where the original placement was, and then we'll band the top side. You can see we got this where is it at? This deluxe banding tool, and I've used one of these before. They're actually really nice. So let's get into it. Now that it's jam-packed full of grease, and I'm probably going to get it everywhere when I push it on, let's get it banded. So re-welding up those link bars, the main bracket, because they were shit from Chris. I messed up when I was putting this boot on, well, putting the whole axle back in the side-by-side. I busted a hole in 2 different spots, and you can see the grease coming out. Finally put the other boot on because I'm an idiot. So now we're gonna get this one slapped back in and start putting it all back together. Here's that other donut gasket. I think it was self-inflicted from when I done the transmission, but you can see where it caught on the edge right there, and that's what blew out. So that's why we almost burned it down. But you can see right there, this is where the new one goes on, and it just slips over the top, and mine was sitting cockeyed like that, so that's why it blew out. So we're calling this a day. All we got left is the shifter cable to do, and the snorkels and the wheel studs, and she'll be ready to go. We got the axle done, the boot, and we got the backside put back together. So we finished the exhaust, we cut the catalytic converter open, and then broke all the stuff out, and then welded it back up. We're gonna put the exhaust back on and see how loud it is, but I do want it louder in stock, so we'll see on that. But we got those 2 boots right there for the snorkels, and then we got the studs, and also we got the shifter cable. Got a new one right there, but it's down ahead of the house. We're tired. Jake was able to clean out the catalytic converter, and he had to cut it open because it was so stopped up that I couldn't beat it through each side. So he cut it open, and then you can see all the big jumbled mess that it was. It had no airflow. This thing was completely red hot. So it cut it open, blew it out, and welded it back up. So got the exhaust put back on. I gotta get some different springs because it's I guess when that gasket blew out, it messed these springs up, so they don't have hardly any tension on, so it's not pulling enough on that gasket in. But I want to see how loud it is with the no muffler and with the cat been cut out. So let me close this bed. Oh, and I'm about to crank this bad boy. Oh, I bet it's gonna be loud. Damn, we could get it come straight out too. That'd be crazy. I gotta move that wire. That is, I gotta replace that light anyway. That's the one that's burnt up. Got the springs changed, got the catalytic converter hollowed out, and now I'm working on these snorkels. But there's an issue. It is like melted onto the regular PVC, so if I can get these undone. Oh yeah, there we go. At least get the top one off. Oh, it's all stuck on there. This is not gonna be fun. Ugh. I'm gonna melt to get them off. We're on like week 3 working on this thing. I just had zero motivation, and it's just all those little things that need to be fixed. Really aggravating. But I think all we got left is, what is that? Oh, the shifter cable. That's one of the main things. Then we can get it put on the trailer, and then we can go bring it to the exhaust shop, because we are doing a, let me see. Where are they at? There they are. We're gonna do a Corvette style exhaust. Like, you know, on a C7, 2 dual tips. And they're gonna go right there, each of them. So what I'm thinking is we'll probably cut this off, because you know we already hollowed out there. That's the catalytic converter. That's what stopped it up and what made the side-by-side almost catch on fire. And then have it come probably out to a 90 right here. Then have it Y off to each of them, and then it'll be those each on there. And then those will sit right here, probably like that. But they'll be perfectly spaced and they'll look really good. Should at least. We'll see. But we want this thing to be really loud. So I'm fishing this new shifter cable through, and you can see there's a boatload of water that's inside of it. That's why it broke. It got clogged up and everything, and eventually just snapped. Let me tell you, feeding that new shifting cable in is not fun at all, and I already messed up my new one. You can see I broke it. So yeah, the water's gonna get in there again, but I put a zip tie around it, so hopefully it'll last for a little while, but it works all good, sorta kinda. I really don't know how to go about it, because there's an adjustment bracket down up in there. If I quit shaking, all right, you see that bracket? There's 2 bolts holding on right there, those 2 little bolts. Well, I'm not sure if you're supposed to take that out and then tighten it onto the thing and then put it back down, or put the bracket on first and then tighten those big nuts on the back side of the shifting cable right there. I'm not sure, but I put the bracket in first and then tighten these big nuts up. So that was, I don't want to say easiest, but it was not. A spanner wrench would be great to use on there. But now we got to put this new one on, because I broke my old one. I don't even know where it's at. I got to throw it on the ground. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I broke all this surround right here from being rough on it. So now time to get this one put in. So here's the part of the shifter that broke. You can see the cable on it that let go. That was in the dash. Then here's part of the gear selector that broke. Pieces of it all broke. Here's some of the boot that let the water in. That was on the dash. So you can see all that just came out of there. So a bunch of mud and water got in there, caused it to bind up, then eventually broke. So, and then just me being hard on it. So I've been working on this new exhaust idea, and you can see the unzip tie. I gotta redo all these wires, so don't worry about that. But we hollowed out the catalytic converter, and there's 3-inch pipe going through, but that's not where we're stopping. We're actually gonna stop before then. I got a little something right here. So these came off of an old C7 Corvette, and what I'm gonna do with them is how the RJWC, I think that's how it is, exhaust, runs through the center of the shock mount. We're gonna put these there just like it and have it look like a Corvette C7 style exhaust. So what we're gonna do is, once we weld this up to the end of the catalytic converter, then we'll end cap it there, drill holes in here, and then center them right between that bed frame and that shock mount right there. And then have these bad boys sticking out. So it's kind of finished. Don't worry about none of that. That thing is freaking loud. It sounds extremely good, but it's so loud. It drones really bad through this cage, so I don't know. But well, as you can see, we've been sweating our freaking asses off this Louisiana heat. But the exhaust is on, sort of, kind of, most of the way. I need to do some wrap around that donut gasket, so that's never an issue again. There we go. But it's mostly done. You can see the exhaust. It is stupid freaking loud. There's a crazy drone inside the cab, and it really pierces your ears. So I don't know what to do about that. We're eventually gonna change it. So, I mean, it's cool for sure. And I love how loud it is, and it sounds freaking amazing. But I don't know. We're gonna have to change it. But as of right now, we're able to make a ride for the most part, and we're somewhat together. Don't worry about those headlights. We'll be putting that in the next video. So we're kind of together. If we need to go make a ride, we can. I know for sure that we have a ride coming up for the 4th of July weekend at Extreme. And I think it's down in Houston or by Houston. It's somewhere around there. But we're gonna be getting to that. But there's a couple more things we gotta do. Obviously, we gotta do the headlights. And that'll be in the next episode. We do those headlights. Those are from Wasted Money Fab. But then also, we have to do a bolt change in the rear, at least the outers for sure. Because I keep shearing the bolts off, at least almost every time. After every ride, you see I've taken it apart. And then whenever time I put it back together, I almost always put new bolts in it. Because it either always stretches them, gets them real thin, or they're just weren't the right ones to begin with. But we've got to oversize these bolts. Those are M10s that are on it. We need to either go up to M12s or go all the way up to a standard size and 1/2 inch. And I think that's the only way that's going to solve our bolt issue, as well as some link bars in the rear. I don't know if we'll be able to get to the link bars in time, but we'll be doing that sometime in the future. That'll be it for this episode. You seen we put on the Corvette style exhaust. It's extremely loud. And we fixed some of the problems that we had on the last ride, especially with it almost catch on fire. Make sure you stay tuned on our next episode. We're putting in our Wasted Money Fab headlights. So thanks for watching. Deuces.